Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Straight Line Motorsports League here for round number 17 of the Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here. I'm your host and commentator for today's set of races, SD Windscore RDZ, and of course, me being late to the commentary. That's because I was doing a race on R Factor 2, about a 6-hour race. That race started up, my stint started off pretty much, I'd say, after 2 hours and ended just before the 4-hour mark, and then of course halfway through my stint it started raining, and then that's when my race pretty much went to shambles, as I like to put it. So I take the one-way flight from Autopolis in Japan all the way here to Sardenga in wherever the heck it may be, considering it is a fictional circuit, and I'm not going to be the one to try and figure out where that is going to be, but instead we are here to watch some cup cars race it out here at the Sardenga circuit. And I wish I knew the location of the place, but don't quote on me on that. In front of us, we have James Head, who is going to lead the pack in the 7. He has been on an absolute charge late in this series, and wouldn't he like to walk out with a championship, of course, in that 7 Mazda. And then behind him is SLM Polymer, and he will follow James Head and make the train to start these first set of flying laps here at Sardenga. And of course, we will wait and see who will make the first move and set the benchmark times. Of course, James Head. Oh, I apologize about that. That is my phone. And also, as a matter of fact, as well, before I started my step in R-Factor 2, I didn't even know how to edit my coffee. So I've got a whole cup of coffee here, right in front of me on my desk. So that'll keep me some energy. That'll give me some after stint energy for these comms, and we are looking forward to some exciting racing here, of course. But first, things first, qualifying, of course. Like I said, we'll go down the field once again. We've got James Head, who's in first, who will set the benchmark when these guys mark the way around. SM Palmer, once again, in the 24, taking the lead of the championship after 2 strong results last time out. Doug Barrow, once again, on a charge, trying to find anything he can. Bar 27 as well. Hairraiser as well in this race. TGIS 78 claiming his first win of the season last time out at Lago Maggiore, so he is going to be getting that confidence boost as well. Elliott F64 right there as well, trying to get the torque out on this Mazda, which you don't have a lot of, which drops out really, really quickly, of course. And then finally, the Pro-Am GTP leader, Dude, in the number 8. So we got times coming in now as we speak. Who's going to be the one on pole position right now? Currently, it's going to be SLM Polymer over Doug Barrow by less than 0.2 of a second. And then coming in third is TGIS by 1/1000th of a second. You cannot make this up in the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda 5 Cup Championship right there. So look at that, 122.544 for Doug Barrow, and then 112.544 for Doug Barrow, and then 112.545 for Hairraiser, and only 30 for TGIS, and only 38 thousandths behind TGIS is Hairraiser with a 112.583, and then 22 thousandths behind that is James Head with a 112.6. So second to 6th place, absolutely close. So you are talking within a tenth of a second is from 5th to 2nd. That's how close these races are, and you cannot get any closer than what you have right in front of you, of course. So SLM Palmer has dropped a bit of a ways back. James Head is going to close that gap, but he's going to improve on the position, but not get pole. So he will. So Palmer still has pole position. No improvement for Palmer. That was expected. Elliott, oh, he does improve. So we have improvements coming up the board. James Head with the 112.513, just under a tenth of a second improvement there. He's got to find at least a tenth and a half to get on pole position. Doug Barrow, no improvement that time by TGIS. No improvement as well. Actually, no. TGIS and Hairraiser, no improvements. Elliott improves by a whopping 0.5 of a second at most. Dirted improves to a 13.4, and Barr with a 13.6. So 1.2 seconds separates the field for the most part. So it is relatively close. Palmer now. We'll go back to James Head because he is on a charge. at the moment. So what I'm going to do now while we have the chance to do so, and James Head will pop up and improve, but not on position by 78 thousandths of a second. He is behind. So what can Doug Barrow do? Doug Barrow, no improvement. So Palmer, Durdude will pop into 6th, besting Elliott. And that's not even an improvement for Elliott as well. So Durdude doing a good job in P6 at the moment, just trying to find a bit more time under that chassis. Tell you what, who's also doing well, very, very well, is James Head. He's been on an absolute charge after an abysmal start to the season. He's been really, really, really coming back in this Spec Championship, and wouldn't he love it to walk out here as 2019-20 Mazda MX5 Cup Champion of the Straight Line Motorsports League, of course. But to do that, to get one more additional point towards that championship, he's got to get pole position, and he's got to find 78 thousandths on this Sardenga Track C circuit to be able to improve on that. It's a really, really good lap. The time is really, really good. We'll find out if it's going to be good enough is the question. He's got to find... No, he's a tenth and a quarter short. So we'll go back to Palmer, and Barr sets us... So Palmer does improve by 85 thousandths of a second. And Elliott now with a 112.5, so Palmer with a 112.2, making life a bit more difficult for James Head. So James Head, excuse me about that, will have to find about just under a 10th and 3/4 of a second, a 10th and 3/4 of a tenth, so about just under 2 tenths. So while we're waiting for this, so here, what we'll do is we'll go to the championship standings here. So we will... So MX5 Cup Championship standings as they are. Actually, are they even improved is the question. I don't think so. So we're going to have to refer off of what we have from last week before Lago Maggiore. Palmer leads. I imagine. James had a couple up and down results. Elliott F with a 112.4. Palmer by 0.3 of a second gets pole. Elliott jumps ahead of James Head by 1,000th of a second. So is that 2 people on the grid separated by 1,000th of a second? Yes, it is. So 4 people in 2 different sets of cars are separated by 1,000th of a second. This is absolutely amazing stuff. So TGIS getting in the way of Elliott Faggoter. Elliott's trying to flash and get out of the way. Get out of the way. He's trying to set a quick lap. Oh, Elliott getting on the grass, which is something you don't want to do. So Elliott and James Head separated by 1,000th of a second, and Doug Barrow and TGI separated by 1,000th of a second. I'll tell you what, if these times stand as they are, this would look very, very close indeed from second all the way down to 5th. What has Hairraiser been doing up to? He's 38 thousandths off of TGI's. So from 2nd to 6th, I want to say, yeah, it is extremely close. And Durdude and Barr is not all that far off either. It's only separated by all within a second of each other. So this field is really, really close. Palmer, I imagine, will get one more lap to do it. And I think those 2 that have just passed turn number 1 or 2 will get another lap besides this one. And Hairraiser will lead them to the final lap. And I think this will be the final lap for qualifying. And so Palmer, oh, that's a big sideways moment for Hairraiser, and that's going to hamper his qualifying performance. So I think his day might be done. He's only going to settle for 6th at most. So who is that coming across right now? James Head and Doug Barrow, I feel like, will each get another lap unless Doug Barrow is too far behind. He's coming up. He's coming up. And Doug Barrow just misses out, unfortunately. So James Head will get another lap. Palmer will go to the pits. So times not improving as far as I'm aware. So Durdu will move up and improve, but he will not improve on his position. James Head does get another lap, so he is the one that everyone will be taking an eye out for. We'll go on board with James Head from the hood view. He's only got to improve. He's 2/10 down off pace, so he's losing a lot of time. All of a sudden, he's really attacking those curves. He's really trying to get the maximum amount of momentum that he can. He's really, really close to that apex. Oh, it just gets it very, very sideways indeed. And so I do not feel like that is an improvement. Yeah, it's not an improvement. So look at these qualifying results. Holy macaroni. This is going to be exciting. And I've just found out that SLM Vider will be back in the commentator's box. So I've got to get him in the commentator's box. But for now, we'll go down the grid. Palmer takes on pole position, but gets that extra point for the championship lead. Thigger in Elliott F in second place. James Head, Doug Barrow round out the second grid. TGIs and Hair Razor, third grid that they make up, and Durdu and Barr will make up the rest of the grid. So it is the 5 red lights on you see on the Sardenga start gate up top. And when do they go out is the question. And it's a green light right now. And TGIs looked like he got a good start, but I think that torque just basically reduced his chances of doing something about that. So we'll follow this start of this race. And look at that already. So on board now with Elliott Fageter. And we'll go to James Head. Oh, and Doug Barrow's going to try and plan on something. Doug Barrow not doing anything there as of yet. And so nothing doing there as of yet. My replay thing is still broken for whatever reason, so I'm not 100% sure on that. Unless they change the replay buttons on the game. And Palmer's lost from first to fourth right at the end of the first lap. So Palmer going backwards rather than forwards, or staying forward, as I just say. And that's not going to look appropriate for the stream, of course, so this video already being demonetized if it were. Durdu, what is he doing? He doesn't want to get too close to that pit wall, because obviously you would run straight into that, so you definitely don't want to do that. But Durdu is doing the best that he can in the Rusty Mazda, as I like to call it, because I give it that nickname because it's rusty all over. We'll go on board with the German. And it looks like Hair Razor, oh, I thought he was going to go right into the back of him, but I'm glad he didn't, so it didn't mess up his performance. So Durdu, not having the best of performances in the MX5 Cup Championship, but he does do it just for fun. Normally his actual efforts come in the GTP Pro-Am division, where he's leading that by a substantial margin. And James Head gets back in the lead. Oh, and that's Doug Barrow, who's gone around. Oh my goodness me, Doug Barrow. And it looks like he saved it. Did he or did he not save that? That was a good save if it was. Holy macaroni. What a save that was for Doug Barrow. I bet there's a brown spot in that driver's seat. And so we'll go on board now with SLM Palmer from the driver's eye. What you see is what the driver sees. He's going to try and make one on the outside of turn 1 from Elliott and James Head, but nothing doing there as of yet. Elliott's going to hold his line. James Head goes a little bit on the gravel, so does Palmer. So Elliott's going to benefit from the traction a little bit. It's going to show the flicker of the lights. Palmer not liking that, so I imagine tensions are going to flare between most of these guys. James Head's still going to lead the way. Elliott trying to apply the pressure on the 7. He's going to try and dive it up the inside, but nothing doing there as of yet. So this is going to be absolutely close racing for the time being. Doug Barrow and TGIS aren't that too far behind, as well as the rest of the pack. But for the time being, it is the top 3 who are absolutely nose to tail to nose to tail. And so, James Head, oh, it looks like he took a bit too deep, and Elliott's hit him. He's hit him wide. And I think James Head might have gotten the benefit of the doubt, so while this is all happening, we're going to bring in, or more or less, I'm going to join the side commentator, and I think, if I'm correct, I have a SD Viper that is in the commentator's box with me.
Yes, sir, you do.
So welcome to the MX5 Cup Championship. SD Viper. It has been absolutely close. As a matter of fact, Elliott Fageter is losing another position because Doug Barrow and TGIs are all right up in this field. TGIs and Elliott Fageter are having tensions. They're actually hitting each other on the track. So they were literally...
more contact. More contact with Elliott and TGIS.
Oh, yeah. Doug Barrow's going to pop into the lead of this race.
Oh, what a move that was.
So what a move for Doug Barrow to benefit from the troubles of Palmer and James Head, and all of a sudden the contact between those two have allowed Doug Barrow to take the lead of this race. And Elliott Fageter, look at that, all the way down in 5th place. So, of course, being stuck behind TGIs isn't helping out as much. As a matter of fact, he's going to force him a bit wide.
Absolutely, indeed. I was just going to say, I did catch the last 2/3 of the qualifying session, and Elliott did start out high in position, and we did see a great, intense qualifying session, but now we're just looking forward to a great race. Palmer he's closing that gap, going to the turn 1 right here. What will he do here? As he looks to the bumper, nope, he's just going to follow behind Doug Barrow for this first turn right here. Oh, Doug Barrow's going to the gravel trap!
Oh, yes, he has! Oh, he's beaten it! Oh my gosh!
That's gonna cost him a lot of time right here. Oh!
Oh, as a matter of fact, his teammate is gonna get into the side of that dude!
Oh man, that is not gonna be good right there. Hair raiser right into the back of his teammate, loses the rear end and collects Durdude in the process right here. What a tragic event within the last 2 laps here. Doug Barrow going from 1st to 6th here in just a single lap here. My goodness.
Yeah, Durdude unfortunately was just at the worst place at the worst time. I think he saw that incident happening and he just really had nowhere to go. So unfortunately for the German, he's got to find a lot of time to make back up. And for these monsters, making up time is very difficult because these cars are pretty much as balanced as they possibly can be. So, excuse me, while we wait for that, so while we watch this comeback, we'll go back up to the front where it is once again the championship leader SLM Palmer, who is once again being trailed by James Head at the moment.
I think Palmer took the smart decision right there, because if he knew that Doug Barrow was going to go off in the crowd trap, that was a very smart decision of him to stay behind, wait for Doug Barrow to make a mistake, and it really benefited him in the long run here. Let's see what he got to do. We've got 23 minutes left, and James Head is slowly catching that 24 Mazda of SLM Palmer.
There's a 3-car battle midway through the pack. Bar 27 trying to hold off TGIS and the comeback. Doug Barrow, oh, there's a bit of a lag spike there from Bar 27, so nothing too major, but he is lagging just a slight tad.
Yeah, I can see that on my
Oh, yep, he's lagging a bit. I'm not sure if the other guys.
A little bit of rubbing between TGIS and Doug Barrow right here for 5th place right now. Let's see what they do here to the final corner here.
Yeah, I'm going to say slight.
TGIS, look to the outside. Look to the outside. Can he make a stick? Yes, he does. And Doug Barrow's going to follow with him. Bar's going to drop 2 positions and go down to 6th place.
Yeah, so a lot of action on the track now. Of course, Bart's being given the warning for slight lag. Nothing too substantial. It's not too severe, but he is just trying to do the best that he can to remain competitive. But of course, we have to keep in mind that, you know, the drivers have to be aware of what is happening. So the better he knows, the more he is aware, obviously. So we'll go back.
Just speaking of Bar right here, he's dropped down to 7th. Hair Raiser now has gone by him on the front stretch, and third dude now is going to be the unlucky one who's going to have to sit behind bar 27 now, or possibly an extra lap here, see if he can try and get back into that pack right now. As we look forward to the mid-pack, we got TGIS and Doug Barrow.
Oh, James Head is really trying to put pressure the heck out of Palmer for that race lead. Elliott Fageter is right there. It's literally nose to tail to nose to tail once again. Elliott, oh, an aggressive move by Elliott.
He's going to drop up in the
and I think he somehow made that move stick.
He's going to get the momentum. He's going to get the momentum of the turn one. Yeah, he's closing in on Palmer right now. This is going to be quite an entrance into turn one here. And I do not have the lap count right now on my screen right here.
We're on lap 8 at the moment, but James Head's going to come up side by side from Palmer. And so the 7 going up against the 24. What can happen here into turn number 1? They're still side by side. James Head's going to hold his line, as a matter of fact, and he's going to take the lead of this race. But Palmer going to get that inside line, and James Head's going to get the lead of this race.
What a move on the outside in the turn 1 by James Head, 14. Now Elliott's just going to be looking back to see what he could do, and I think he's going to try and go for second on the outside. Elliott, he's forced wide off in the grass.
Elliott being forced off a bit wide.
But he's still in the back bumper. He's still there with Palmer.
Yeah, he didn't lose too much time because these drafts of these cars can pretty much just bring him back like nothing. So Elliott didn't lose too much time, but he's really, really close still, like you said, STM Viper.
Yeah, the one thing I found out about these cars, because I was in the 2 races at Laguna Magnolia, and I found out with these cars, they're very different compared to GT4 or even GT3 cars. They require a higher RPM but shifting. See, when I'm used to GT4 or GT3, I'm used to shifting right as the bar on. You see the red limit of the bar flashing blue right there just before you shift. Just when you shift is when that starts, before you turn blue. And Palmer's gonna have a look at the inside right here as I speak. But the way I found out is that these cars require a higher shift pattern in revolutions in the RPM range to drive them right here. You see this top 3 really duking it out here. Elliott having to look to the outside, going side by side with Palmer here.
Yeah, these guys, they are really, really trying to put the edge on. Oh, a little bit of a slight contact lag spike there from Elliott Fageter.
And I've battled with Elliott in a GT4 race at Dragon Trail Seaside 4, and no matter what, if whenever he goes off track or on track, he still finds a way to get back up to you. And he's a really
look at Palmer with a slight little dive onto the inside.
Will James Head get the momentum though? He's gonna have the momentum though. He's gonna get him on this drag race here. Elliott trying to draft here. He may come up for second place here.
Yeah, Palmer's gonna get right back behind James Head.
James Head giving up the draft to Palmer from Elliott right now, but Elliott's still got some draft here. He's going to try and beat these guys up in the turn 1. James Head really defending that inside line right now.
Yes, he is right now. Yeah, James Head's really, really trying to do the heavy load right now because championship points matter. If he could try and get back a win here today with Palmer with James Head winning and Palmer finishing behind him, that would be good for the championship. But if James Head can do that twice today, that would be very, very good for him to get back in this championship hunt.
Palmer looking to the inside. James Head goes off in the grass, somehow keeps it straight, and somehow keeps it in front of Palmer. My goodness, are we seeing some excellent driving right here by these young drivers?
We'll go on board now from bumper cam on Palmer, and Palmer is literally all over the back of this rear bumper on James Head. As a matter of fact, Elliott's going to try and... Yeah, Elliott's going to try and send one up the inside, but nothing doing there as of yet. As a matter of fact, James Head was hit wide.
Little tailspin there. Little.
And this is 3 wide action. This is going to be 3 wide action. Look at this.
Who's going to have the drag race into turn 1? Who's going to have the preferred position, preferred line going into turn 1 right here? This is going to be incredible stuff right here coming on the front stretch, coming right by us.
Right on live now from Palmer's point of view. You can see the 3 cars literally going 3 wide. Who's going to be the first one later on the brakes? And it looks like Elliott backed out of that one, so he didn't want to be the one responsible for that. But James Head!
He's in the gravel trap. And now we've got this 4-car tandem.
And there's more contact.
Oh my goodness gracious. Doug Barrow just slid it on the outside in the grass right there. Just got the position now, but here comes the teammate Hairraiser now, who's going to have a look on the inside right here. Doug Barrow keeping the position right there.
Yeah, an unfortunate circumstance of events, but James...
Elliott now. He's going to have a look for the lead right now.
Oh, Elliott pushing really, really hard. So Palmer's got to do the heavier work and trying to defend, but I think Elliott is going to force it, and he's got it.
Let's see what Palmer does on the outside right here.
I think he's going to try and go for the meta push. Is he going for the switchback? Is the big question. I don't think he is.
He's got the position now. See if Palmer can drag race him back down. But we've got a drag race here between these 4 cats that are battling for 3rd place right now. We got a 3-car battle now here. Doug Barrow, Hairraiser, TGIS now all battling for 5th right here. But we're going to go back up to this battle right here. And Palmer having a look to the inside. A little bit of contact there.
Yeah, I don't think Elliott really much fought for that one. As a matter of fact, he might have, because I think he knew he could have kept the momentum swing going for himself.
There's more contact between the top 2. That one at the turn 1 right there. What an incredible battle here. We've only got 16 minutes left in this race to go. This is an incredible race right here.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing stuff here.
Oh, Palmer and Doug Barrow.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think this battle for most of these guys have actually brought some of the guys in the mid-pack back up into this league fight. Doug Barrow, Hairraiser, and TGIS all involved, and don't even count out the Mazda of Durdu, because he's right there. Elliott gonna try and defend on the inside line, and he's not gonna benefit from that because Doug Barrow is gonna come up right alongside Palmer for 2nd place. I second that. No, he's gonna tuck back right behind.
Hairraiser though, TGIS.
Oh, look at this right now. It looks like New York City traffic from Elliott Thacker's bumper cam. Look at this.
They're shuffling. This is incredible racing right here. Unbelievable. And it's only Mazdas.
Elliott forced on the grass a little bit, I think 3 wide, I'm pretty sure, going into turn number 1 once again. It's literally stock car racing. That's fine. Oh, there's contact!
More contact! Unbelievable!
While Elliott Thacker goes away, Palmer is going to get swallowed up, but no, he's trying.
Hairraiser just shoved his way through into 3rd place.
Hairraiser's a person you don't really see anymore up in the top spots anymore. All of a sudden, is in P3.
Elliott's gone wide! He's off in the gravel and the grass. Oh my goodness! That's gonna give a run to Palmer and Hairraiser and all the others behind him.
Yeah, Durdu, look at this now. He's in 5th place right now, so Durdu might have something up his sleeve if he's able to try and get back up there. But like I said, I think it's going to come down to I said this instrumentally when TGIS got his first podium of the season at Interlagos. It's going to come down to who plays their cards correctly and makes the right move at the right time. And at the moment, Hairraiser is making that move stick. He's going to move up in a second, maybe up into 1st place. So this might be good for the Brit. One of the Brits in the 69 costume.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact right there. Going up the hill right now. Palmer's going to follow Hairraiser now, going into turn 1. Doug Barrow's going to try and follow.
Oh, 2x2 action once again going into turn number 1. Oh, everyone kept it clean for the most part. James is somewhat back in this, so he's made his comeback near and proud. Durdu as well as Doug Barrow and Hairraiser, so pretty much everyone back on a clean slate, and that's exactly what these cars are designed to do. Oh, 3 cars went wide on the grass.
Oh my god!
Oh my goodness me!
Look at this. We've got a 7-car battle here, and Elliott's just enjoying himself right now. Everyone's just dicing it off and just giving him an opportunity to get away from all that action.
You know what? While we got the time, we'll go on board now with the 64. Hairraiser goes a bit wide, so Palmer's gonna barely sneak up back into 2nd place. So look at the gap now from the live stream, SC Viper, and you tell me, look at the size of the gap right now that Elliott has on this field. But keep in mind, as these guys go through this next lap, it's going to be literally bumper to bumper once again, and probably give another lap or 2, and these guys are literally going to be right with each other once again.
Hairraiser is just leading this train here into turn 1 right here. Elliott's just taking a comfortable turn into turn 1 right here. Everyone forming a single file line right here, trying to get some draft on each other right now.
It looks like Jameshead's trying to do something because he's fallen back all the way down to 7, so he tried something that did not work out particularly well. Durdu gets a big lag spike and goes into the grass slightly.
Absolutely, indeed.
Oh!
lot of more.
Everybody's going wide into that grass.
Palmer's gonna have a run in second place, and he completes the pass, and Dirk's gonna try and follow Palmer into third place.
Yeah, I think as these mid-pack guys start fighting it out, it's gonna give Elliott the chance to just basically get away, because
look at this, 4 wide. Oh my God!
Was it 4 wide now? It's 3 wide midway through the corner.
It was just 4 wide into the braking zone for the final corner. This is incredible racing right here.
Oh, we're on board now with TGIs, and look at the amount of cars that we're seeing here on this roof cam, and this is absolutely amazing stuff that you are seeing.
Palmer's just pulling away at this rate, unless they can all get back up to him right now.
Yeah, I think Palmer's main case right now that he's trying to literally do is just find any bit of momentum that he can.
Oh, here he comes on the outside, but 3 wide.
And CJ, Viper, you want to know something as well? How we noticed James Head was in 7th all the way down a lap ago? Yeah, he's all the way up in P3 now, so he's made a move of some sort that I don't think we were able to find. And all of a sudden, yeah, like I said, all of a sudden, this battle is just completely right back. James Head is literally right back with these guys, so.
And James Head is catching Palmer now in the final turn. He's got a huge run going to the final turn right
here. Yeah, huge run, and he's going to make the dive. Oh, but Palmer was just a little bit of a smidge later on the brakes. And Dirdude, you might have a chance. He might have a chance at a podium here today.
James Head's got another draft here. Let's see what he can do now on Palmer right here. Elliott now it's just.
Ooh, interesting. Right James Head's going to move to the outside for turn number 1. So that is a very interesting thing of choice.
He's been very good on overtaking on the outside. That's been one of the strong suits here at this track here at Sardenga. I forget how you say it.
It's Sardenga, or however you say it. It's Palmer is really feeling the pressure. I think James Head's got it slipped through the inside. I think he has.
He's going to put him there and just leave him there. Not giving Palmer an inch right there of negotiation right there. He's going to have all negotiation. A little bit of contact right there. Let's see what happens.
Watch Dirdude as well as he's trying to force a mistake, and they all go in the grass. Hair raiser, look at this now.
James Head, Palmer, Dirdude, and Doug Barrow.
Man.
They all went off and wide into the grass. This is incredible racing right here.
And while all this is happening, it's allowed Elliott to basically get away, so he'll take the points as granted. James Head and Palmer still scrapping it out for second.
Yeah, Elliott's just taking a sigh of relief right now as he's just pulling away from this. He don't have to worry about it. He's just going, whoopee, I'm getting a good result here if he can hold on to this run right here.
That is, if he can hold it and not put a foot wrong, as has some people have in this race. Wink, wink, 7th place.
Oh, boy. Wait,
Dirdude going to go high on the outside. James Head and Palmer onto the inside. Move back to the racing line. So, Dirdude going to take the solid points chunk that he can. And obviously, if he can get a 2nd or 3rd place finish here, that would be very, very good for him, of course.
Hey, someone go tell Dirdude it's not raining here.
Now, that's the thing he always does. He always has those windshield wipers on. I don't know why, but he always does.
Is that his little dance where he's trying to wiggle the car around to get another?
Probably. It's probably so.
This mid-pack battle is kind of stretched out, but these the 2nd and 3rd place cars, James Head and Palmer, they're still going at it right here. Palmer all over the back bumper right here. Let's see what he's going to do in the back corner. Gives James Head a little shove right there into the braking zone right here.
He's going to tuck behind for the time being.
Just runs out of real estate right there. James Head, of course.
And all of a sudden, this pack is going to be closed up I think by turn 1, because look at the slipstream.
Look at the 2 Costa cars. They're battling out for 6th place right now. They're side by side on the front stretch right here.
If anything, you want to try and work together to get back up in this field rather than work against each other, and being side by side is not going to help out for a fact. So Doug Barrow will have that inside line advantage, but this battle for 2nd place not dying down whatsoever. James Head had that off in the gravel trap and has done absolutely well with 7.5 minutes to go to absolutely get back up into 2nd place and fight for a spot in this race that could potentially get him one step closer to that championship lead on SLM Palmer. But Palmer, the guy right behind him, is going to do everything in his power to try and minimize the damage lost on the championship lead. So he was going to apply all the pressure that he can to James Head. Oh, as a matter of fact, Durdude, he might be having a shot at P3. So we'll go back to this third place battle at the moment, but Durdude, oh, is he going to try? No, he's going to force one.
He's all over the back bumper of Palmer right now, who's trying to get his way back up there, but now I think he's got to defend against Durdude and TGIS now for third place in that final spot on the podium here, with just about 6.5 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, we're on board now with Durdude, and it looks like we have the windshield wipers on, of course. You could see them, but, of course, being with Durdude, he's going to try anything in his power that he can to try and get up on the podium if he can. Remember, he's won races here before, and wouldn't he like to add a podium and get another trophy to his MX5 collection on top of that as well?
Absolutely, indeed. That win for him at Magura was just a huge milestone in his sim racing career here, as we see James had put a foot in the grass right there. And still watching this fight right here, and I think this battle is just, these cars are starting to spread out here right now. But
well, watch him spread out and then watch him close back up. That's how I see it, so.
Palmer on the back bumper again. Gives James Head a little shot into the final corner right there.
Ooh, I thought I saw a little bump in between the two cars.
I saw a little bump right there. There was definitely contact right there, but it wasn't anything major right there. These two still going strong in this fight right here. And it's now just a single car train here, up the hill, past the finish line.
And also another thing I've noticed as well, the gap between first and second place between Elliott and James Head has actually gone down significantly. From the last time I saw it was around 3 seconds, now it's 1.3 seconds. So is Elliott starting to take a bit of a conservative approach here, as far as I'm aware?
I don't know, he's still about 1.1 seconds ahead of James Head right now. James has still got Palmer to deal with, as he is still on his back bumper right here in the number 24. James Head obviously in the 7th, but the 24 of Palmer. Elliott goes a little wide right there, but I don't think it's going to compromise his racing line right there.
And so,
come up the hill. Oh,
yeah, I think Elliott is just starting to take it conservatively, because all of a sudden this gap for the lead, this fight for the lead, might actually be reigniting here. So I'm not sure what Elliott is really doing at the moment, because he did have at least 3-second gap. He would have been fine to keep pushing, but I think unless he's been doing some minuscule or minor mistakes, that gap has really come down here within the last 10 minutes of this race.
Absolutely. Elliott was just, he just kind of got lucky with that position shuffling and all that battling back there, and it's really benefited him. And let's see if he can hold on here. He's got about less than 3 minutes and 40 seconds left of this race. Also, just a friendly reminder. Oh,
I think that might be the reason why, because I think he's been putting a couple mistakes on as well, and so James Head and Palmer have really been scrapping it out, and I think this battle once again is going to be spread out, so it's going to be 1 second the gap between the top two of this race. James Head.
Durdude really deep on the brakes right here. Oh, Durdude's he's going to lose the rear end. Durdude really deep on the brakes in the final corner here.
So Durdude from like 4th to 6th, and unfortunately that's not going to benefit for him. He really tried something, but I guess it really did not work.
Now James Head having to fight off Doug Barrow now up the hill as he tries to make something happen here. Doug Barrow slowly closing in now on James Head right here. But Palmer now, he's down to about a half second behind Elliott right now. So can we see a late minute charge here for the front for Palmer here with about 2.5 minutes to go in this race right here?
Yeah, he's going to pretty much have either this lap and just one more. So he's going to pretty much have at most 2 to 3 laps, including this one. to do the job if he can. And all of a sudden, the championship leader, SLM Palmer, is just going to try and do anything he can to extend that championship lead once again here today and get at least a win here.
Palmer looks to the outside.
Oh, nothing doing there as of yet. So there's definitely going to be 2 laps. This one and one more after the next one.
Absolutely. Palmer now trying everything he can. He's about less than 3 seconds ago and catching the leader, Elliott, in the number 64 right here. We're going to have an interesting battle here. Oh, he's on the back bumper. He's looking at the inside.
Palmer's going to do it. He's going to force it.
Oh, Elliott's just going to force him in the grass. Give him no real estate at all. Palmer to the inside. He's looking. And he's taking the spot away from Elliott. We have a new leader with less than a minute and a half to go left in this race right here. What incredible racing we're seeing right here.
What a drive for the number 24, SLM Palmer, but Elliott Fageter is going to do everything in his power to try and take it back. Oh, the switchback! The switchback! Oh, there's contact! And he's forced Palmer into the wall!
Oh, no! Palmer, after having such a successive run, just getting back up to Elliott, has just been...
And Doug Barrow might benefit from all of this!
James Head now back on the back bumper right here. Oh! James Head shoves him!
Oh! Oh my god, he's been forced wide!
That's going to open the door for Doug Barrow right now, right here. 43 seconds ago. We're going to have one...
Oh, look at James Head! Look at James Head! He's going to force him right up against...
Elliott. White flag in the air right here. We've got 1 lap to go here.
Oh, this is going to be absolutely spicy. He's way wide as Doug Barrow might go for the lead of this race.
TGIS looking behind right now.
This is going to be absolutely spicy of a lap right here. James Head's going to get the lead of this race.
Oh, there's contact, more contact.
Oh, this is going to be spicy. TGIS might even end up on the podium after all of this.
Don't count Dirty.
TGIS is in 3rd place.
He's forced his way past Doug Barrow.
Oh my god.
There's a huge block. There's a huge block right now. Jason just has to hold on for 1 more lap here.
Oh, Doug Barrow forces up the inside. The clock will expire, and this is going to be an action-packed finish to this race.
There's going to probably be some dive bombs here.
You got to defend that inside. Be careful.
Let's see here. Who's going to force it?
Oh, Elliott's going to try the run to the line. He's going to try the run to the line.
He's got to run. He's got to run to the line.
James Head's going to throw the block, but Elliott, does he have the torque? It's going to be super, super close, and it's going to be James Head who takes the win. Elliott in second.
It was by a half a car.
Elliott will finish second with Doug Barrow on 3rd, and Palmer will not be happy about that result. He had that result sealed in, and unfortunately, with James Head winning, that is going to open the championship wide on open. And what a finish that was. James Head taking an absolutely crazy win in round 17 of the Straight Line Motorsports Mazda MX5 Cup Championship here. And I think driver interviews are going to be very, very heated indeed, of course. Palmer is not going to be happy about that finish right there. So he's got a lot of work to do.
Incredibly hard racing from all of these guys right here. I was even starting to lose my voice over here. My God. Jesus.
And so like I said, Barr will restart his internet, of course, and so we have our podium finishers coming in once again. I'll be honest with you, that was I sound very ecstatic, and that was amazing.
I hate to interrupt you here, RT7, but we have our race winner here, James Head, 14. James Head, take us through that race. Me and RT7 were just absolutely losing our voices here. The finish was by a half a car length between you and Elliott here. Tell us about your race and how you managed to come up on the top step of this first race right here.
That was honestly the most unlikeliest victory you could ever wish for, honestly. Palmer made contact with me about halfway through the race, and I was thinking to myself, well, I'm never going to get back into this. Then pulling off 3 wide round the outside of the last corner was very pleasing indeed, and I think that got me a bit more confidence. I was using the anger, really, from earlier on in the race, and from some of the driving actually out on track there as well, which I think does need to be investigated. But, obviously, coming into the race, I was thinking, oh my god, I'm running down the hill, on the final lap, I was thinking, I've probably got this. I got about a 1/10.5 over Elliott, and then making sure that final corner was key. I got the worst possible angle going into the corner. I thought, I'm going to lose the win. But honestly, oh my god, what a race!
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. Here, RDZ, do you have any questions for James Head here, our race winner?
Yeah, I actually have one question for you, real quickly, James Head. Has this race win, by any chance, with you taking this unlikely win, has this topped your Red Bull drive from earlier this season in those set of races?
This being a similar track to Red Bull Ring, this track was honestly so on the limit. Down the hill, up the hill, God almighty. I think it's a bit more pleasing of a win, to be honest. And I've just seen something that is really, really distressing. Kobe Bryant has died.
Oh!
What? He's been killed in a helicopter crash.
What?
Yeah,
oh my god.
Breaking news.
What?
Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash.
No, it's not on BBC News. Don't trust it, it's not on BBC News.
It's Fox 29.
Independent reporting it.
Oh!
Sport Bible reporting it on Twitter. Yeah, there's the thing. TMZ, yeah.
Oh my god!
Business Insider, Fox 29, NY Post, KSAT.
Five people confirmed dead, apparently, in the helicopter crash.
Oh no. Yeah, New York Post. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Alright, I'm gonna interrupt here, everybody, but just for a momentary sake that we are going to offer a moment of silence for respect here for the loss of the famed basketball player Kobe Bryant right here. Minute of silence starts right now. And thank you for that moment of silence right there. Obviously, the news just coming to us as of now, the loss of one of the most famed basketball players of all time just took the world by storm, and coming to us as we are live on the air, just heartbroke for... I can't believe it, personally.
Frick.
So,
wow.
All right,
man. Well, I mean, I did have one more question to ask for James Head real quickly before I was going to cut the stream, and then I was going to move on to Elliott. Has this given you a bigger confidence boost going forward into the championship, and do you see yourself possibly trying to overtake the championship leader, SLM Palmer, who's got an incisable amount of work now to try and make back up, to try and get back on level points with you now?
I think he's left himself muted.
Probably. Okay, well, I guess we'll move on to Elliott now, because I guess he did mute himself. So, Elliott, that race looked so, Elliott, you were leading the majority of that race. I guess you slowed down a fair bit late in the end of the race, or what's that? Explain to about that.
If I'm honest, I didn't slow down. They just caught up.
Okay.
I enjoyed every second of that race. Every single second. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Obviously, obviously the loss of Kobe Bryant has everyone's shocked right now. But I do have a question. I'm Estin Weber, and Elliott, I have a question for you. You know, that looked like a very tough race right there. You know, we did see the clash between you and Palmer, where Palmer was unfortunately forced in the wall. Was that even intentional on your part, or was that just, good hard racing right there? Tell us through that part.
There was contact?
Yeah, apparently Palmer was on the outside of you, and you hit him, and he got forced in the wall before you started going down the hill right there. From our perspective, that's what we saw. So
that is strange. I had my dad sitting next to me, and he was just in celebration. He thought that was a fantastic move. I didn't know there was contact. In fact, there was no contact on my end.
Oh, well, I believe we saw contact on our screen, but obviously the stewards will go back and look at that moment right there. But I do have one more question right here. Such a good run up to the final, from the final corner and the final stretch, and obviously James had beat you by half a car length right there. And any words for that moment right there?
Just what we wanted. Exactly what we want. Is that kind of close finish.
Yeah, obviously a race that, was filled with emotions, and just, I can't stress enough how much of a loss this is for Kobe Bryant right here, the famed basketball players in the on the Lakers, and just heartbroken from. We pray all for his family here at the Straight Line Motorsport League, and yeah, so just heartbroken from everybody. So
yeah, I don't hate to be the burden of bad times, but we do have to move on, and unfortunately, of course, we do. Like I said, we do pray for everyone in the NBA community, and of course, Kobe Bryant's friends and family as well. But we do have to move on here at the Straight Line Motorsports League as well, so we will prepare for round 18. Unfortunately, that kind of hit like a train. All of a sudden it just hit, and then it just really shot down. But we will keep our spirits high for the next round. Of course, LAF 64, James Head, of course. Unfortunately, Duck Barrel's not able to partake in, but of course, he will be present for next race. On behalf of SD Viper and myself, SD Winsco, already said we hope you enjoyed today's race, and we'll see you guys real shortly for the next one.